Hey everyone, it's me Hokyoku. In today's video we're going to be looking over the character Nilou, basically giving my first impressions on her and going over her kit a little bit and her gameplay in order to kind of understand a little bit about her before we go into making our weapons guides and also artifacts guides for her. As you can see from the gameplay, it looks as if she is a Hydro Sword character, which is pretty cool. Her animations do look very clean. She definitely looks like a very kind of animation kind of heavy character in terms of movement as well, which should be actually pretty cool. I do like characters that their animations actually move them around the place. But now let's break down basically her kit as it goes. So it looks like she scales with bonus HP percent, so that basically keys us into that HP is going to be pretty big on her in general. She doesn't really have that crazy of an attack. She's got like 229 right here, so that's pretty standard, I guess you could say, for 5 stars. She's not really a DPS from what I'm getting right here. Let's see, her base HP is at 15,000, which is really pretty high, I guess, or that's pretty good for most like HP scaling characters. I think the Alans is kind of similar to this as well, so that's a pretty good reference right there. Her normal attacks right here are basically 3 hits, so she's got like a 3-hit combo, which is kind of interesting. So animations on here should be pretty cool. The charge attack has a pretty double split right here, as you can see. But generally, since she's not really a DPS, I don't think we're going to focus on this much. Here, Dance of the Haftskasver. I don't think I pronounced that correctly, but enters the pirouette stance, dealing Hydro damage to nearby opponents based on Nilou's max HP. While she's in the pirouette state, Nilou's normal attacks and elemental attacks will cause her to enter the swords dance and rolling steps stances respectively, causing damage she deals to be converted into Hydro damage that cannot be overridden as considered elemental skill damage. So right here, what that tells us is basically her elemental skill turns her normal attacks, I guess, into Hydro damage infused type things. I don't know if she's completely going to be a DPS in that case, but it does seem like it's going to be E-skill based. As you can see right here, the scalings are in her E-skill and not actually in the normal attack, so I guess you can ignore the normal attacks, but it does have these 3 hits right here. So we've got like the hit 1, hit 2, and then Luminous Illusion Water Wheel damage, which I guess is the 3rd hit or something. So this does scale off of the max HP, so you probably could actually get a good amount of damage from her. Stances Nilou's 3rd dance step will end pirouettes and has the following effects. Sword Dance unleashes a luminous illusion that deals Hydro damage to opponents and touches and grants Nilou the Lunar Prayer effect. This effect converts Nilou's normal attacks into Sword Dance techniques, and her final hit will unleash a luminous illusion. Rolling Steps, Nilou unleashes the Whirling Water Wheel that deals AoE Hydro damage and creates Tranquility Aura that follows your active character around and applies wet to opponents within its AoE. So what that's right here, this basically is like a support kind of thing from that. It's going to constantly be applying Hydro, which is pretty good if you are running like a Dendro support or something like that, and you're going for that kind of reaction. But it also says that Nilou is unable to perform charge attacks when under the effect of Pirouette or Lunar Prayer. These effects will be removed once she leaves the field or exists in these states. And also the cooldown on this does seem to be about 18 seconds, so this kind of is in line with a more burst DPS kind of build, I guess you could say. Burst DPS and support, I would say. 18 seconds is a pretty good amount of time, but you are going to be partially on the field during this time. So kind of I would kind of end up putting her in a category kind of similar to Tartaglia, but just with a little bit more like supporting capabilities, I would say, from this. Let's see, her elemental burst begins the dance of faraway dreams and springs that here, causing the lotus distant waters to bloom, dealing AoE Hydro damage based on Nilou's max HP, and applying the lingering Aeon effect to opponents' hits. At an interval, opponents affected by the lingering Aeon will take Hydro damage. So it definitely seems like a sub DPS, kind of burst DPS kind of thing at the same time. Let's see, at level 10, you can get like 33% of your max HP as damage, which is a pretty good amount. Like, I think Nilou is actually going to do a good amount of damage. Lingering Aeon damage is actually like higher than that, 40% of max HP. I don't know exactly how many times this will tick, but it definitely seems to be on a decent interval. With an 18 energy cost right here, it's probably going to last, I guess, at least half that time, so you're going to get a little bit of good damage off of this. At a 70 energy cost, pretty good. Definitely one of those things where like you can either use it for like vaporize reactions or use it for like constant hydro application and just general sub DPS. I think it's going to be very good. First passive right here, Court of the Dancing Petals. When all characters in the party are either Dendro or Hydro, so I guess you could run an all Dendro or Hydro team. And there's at least one Dendro character and one Hydro character. The third dance step of Nylou's dance of Haftkaz Saver will grant all nearby characters the Golden Chalice bounty for 30 seconds. So that's a good long duration right there. Characters on the effect of Golden Chalice bounty will increase the elemental mastery of all nearby characters by 60%. Well, not 60%, 60 rather, for 10 seconds whether they're hit by a Dendro attacks. Also, triggering the bloom reaction will create bountiful cores instead of Dendro cores. So bountiful cores, I guess, is the better version of Dendro cores. Such cores will burst very quickly after being created, and they have a larger AoE. So that right there takes into consideration one of the things that I actually don't like about Dendro cores is that their AoE is kind of small, and you have to actually trigger them yourself with like Pyro. So I guess this basically triggers Dendro cores without even needing Pyro. So that's kind of cool. Bountiful cores cannot trigger Hyper Bloom or Burgeon, and they share an upper numerical limit with Dendro cores. Bountiful core is still considered damage dealt by the Dendro core produced by a Bloom. So yeah, it's still considered like elemental reaction damage, but you can't get like Hyper Bloom or Burgeon, which is a little bit of a nerf right there, but I still think it's probably going to be more focused around the damage. Should the party not meet conditions for the passive talent, any existing Golden Chalice bounty effects will be cancelled. So going back up here, when all characters in the party are either Dendro or Hydro. Yeah, so really, I'm guessing what this kind of means is that like you pretty much have to have a full party of Dendro or Hydro, and that's basically it. Unless this is like a mistranslation, and what it really means is like when your only characters doing reactions or on the field are Dendro or Hydro. So if you have a Dendro character on the field or a Hydro character on the field, and you activate like a Hydro kind of core effect thing, but that's how I would assume that it would be, because if it's just a full-on like Dendro and Hydro is the only thing you're allowed to have in your party, I think that would be a little bit sad, just because it really kind of consolidates your team capabilities. But really, we're gonna have to wait and see how this actually works. Second passive talent, Dreamy Dance of Aeons. Each 1,000 hit points of Nylou's max HP above 30k will cause the damage dealt by bountiful cores created by characters affected by Golden Chalice bounty to increase by 7%. So 1,000 like HP points over 3,000 is actually quite a lot, but I think this is going to balance it out. So yeah, because 30k HP, that's quite a bit. Technically, I guess you could run her as just an HP kind of, you could run tons of HP on her only and go for this damage bonus specifically, but it caps out at 300%, which that's actually a lot of HP over 3,000, I think. But yeah, this is definitely something that you could utilize, so I will definitely cover this when we come to that in my like weapons and artifacts guide, I'd say. Actually, just a quick breakdown of Nilou at Constellation 0 and my thoughts on her, and generally how she's going to perform in game. But anyway, remember to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 11,000 subscribers, and also I cover all sorts of Genshin Impact content on here, like leak guides, early character build guides, just general Genshin stuff is what we're going to be doing from now on. But anyway, see you guys in the next one. Farewell.